Hi, my name is Prejean McGrady. I'm the project manager of Ave Explores, an initiative of Ave Maria Press that seeks to take a deep dive look into topics relevant to faithful everyday Catholics and help them grow and learn more about their faith and how to live as a faithful, passionate Catholic in their everyday life. For the past few weeks, this series has been exploring mental health, stress, anxiety, addiction, grief, how we as Catholics can often walk through the valley of mental health struggles in a unique way, because we walk through the valley, we walk through the struggle of mental health with Christ by our side. That our faith is not contrary to seeking help when it comes to a mental health crisis, when it comes to stress, when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to depression, when it comes to addiction, that the church cares about that the church has something to say about that the church longs for you to find healing. And every resource that we've created for this series was meticulously researched, was put together by experts, was content created in an attempt and with the hope to help foster healing, to help prompt you to seek healing where needed, to be able to recognize maybe something's going on, maybe someone I love is dealing with something, and figure out a way to help you find help. I know that sounds kind of redundant. Figure out a way to help you find help. But that's often what it means to deal with mental health. It's a process. It's a process of healing. It's a process of finding hope. It's a process of recognizing that there might be something deeper going on. And here's a way to find that healing. You know, for me, in my own life, I dealt with anxiety for a really long time in a very unhealthy way. I shoved it down. I tried to ignore it. I thought that it's what made me productive, that being worried, that being anxious, that being stressed was what made me good at my job. And it wasn't until I had an anxiety attack in the midst of buying a new home that my husband and my mom looked at me and said, there might be something more to this, and you might need to find professional help. And then they said something really, really profound in the midst of kind of pointing that out to me. They said, we'll help you. See, that's often, I think, one of the big hang-ups when it comes to finding healing in the midst of a mental health crisis. A lot of people don't know where to begin. And then in the midst of not knowing where to begin, the people around them often don't know how to help them. Now, I think that's one of the things we've talked about well throughout this series. All of the pieces created really kind of highlight the notion of community in the midst of struggling and dealing with and finding healing in a mental health crisis. You know, my husband and my mom told me maybe it's time to find help. A conversation with my doctor led me to a medication that really allows me to operate in such a way that I don't become overwhelmed so easily. Weekly conversations with my therapist that are often extended into our larger session once a month have allowed me to process, to vocalize, to understand triggers, and to find a path to healing. One of the first times I ever met with my therapist, and it's a therapist that I meet with digitally, a Catholic therapist that I deeply, deeply trust, and we Skype back and forth for our sessions. You know, he said something profound. He said, Jesus cares about your mental health. And that was something that I'd never really thought about. That my mental health struggle, that my struggle with anxiety, anybody's struggle with addiction, somebody's struggle with self-harm, somebody's crisis of depression, somebody struggling with whatever it is that they're facing, that's something that they have to do and they have to carry and they have to figure out for themselves. And then obviously help from people we love is very, very important, but he really spoke a deep truth into my life when he said that. Jesus cares about your mental health. He cares about what you're going through. He cares about those triggers. He cares about those things that make you feel unsafe. He cares about those things that overwhelm you, and he longs for you to find healing too. Jesus Christ never looks at the person who's dealing with a mental health crisis and says to them, just get over it. Jesus Christ looks at the person dealing with a mental health crisis and says, I'm in this with you. I will walk this road with you. I will stand with you in the midst of the storm. And in a very profound way, Christ is often able to enter into our lives in those moments of brokenness and offer us love, offer us a glimpse of healing in the arms of the one who loves us, in the arms of the one who stretched out his arms and died for us on the cross. Now, I say this and I hesitate because I don't want you to think that we can just spiritualize our mental health struggles. Medication is sometimes necessary. Professional help is often what needs to be sought. And we've highlighted very, very particularly and intentionally in this series an encouragement for people to seek out professional help as needed, especially if they're feeling that there might be a cause within their life that prompts that there might be a need for professional help. And we want to encourage you to find that. But as with all things, what we really want to highlight, what we really want to impress upon you is that you're not alone in this struggle, and that the not aloneness begins with the relationship with Christ, with this recognition and this understanding, this knowledge, this truth that Jesus Christ cares about your mental health and wants to walk with you through that valley. Through this whole series, we've highlighted the importance of therapy. We've talked about when it's maybe more than just being overwhelmed. We've looked at the crisis that are facing our teenagers today. We've gone through the valley of grief. We've talked about forgiveness and healing. We've really wanted to highlight for you the value of having these conversations, the need to be unafraid to tackle this kind of topic, to destigmatize the problems that people often have when it comes to having conversations about mental health in an honest and authentic way. And as always with Ave Explorers, we hope that just because the series is ended, this is our final week of content, that the conversation continues with you, that you'll share these articles, that you'll share the podcast, that you'll share these videos, that these conversations move beyond the series, because this one especially is critically important. The conversation about mental health is never more needed. The recognition that Christ is with us in the midst of these hurts and struggles and trials is so important. That mental health discussions and the church's role in the life of people struggling with mental health issues, that is completely and totally relevant and timely in today's day and age. I hope this series has been fruitful for you. I hope it's prompted some things within you to seek out healing or to help those you love find healing. And then ultimately it's given you the same recognition that my therapist gave me when he told me that Jesus cares about my mental health. That we love you in the midst of this storm, that he loves you in the midst of this storm, and that healing is possible, and that Christ is with us in the midst of it.